Hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about future. If you are using the Interchange Series 4th or 5th edition, this is Unit 5, page 31, Exercise 3. Before we go to any explanation, I want you to look at these situations. When do you think it's necessary to use will, and when should we use be plus going to? If you're not familiar with these terms, I'm going to explain them to you. First, we have a planned event. Imagine planning your vacation trip. You save money, you make a reservation, you pay in advance the full fee of your stay, you take time off from work, you pack adequate clothing. That's a plan. And a plan takes premeditation and organization. But we also have predictions. Things like the weather can be predicted by science. But there are other predictions called pseudoscience, like reading the palm or the crystal ball, that are not based on science. We also have unplanned events. This is when you deviate from your original plan to do something different. Or you have to do something else caused by a problem or a situation you could not predict. And finally, we have promises and threats. When we are happy, we make promises. But when we are sad or angry, we make threats. So, you can pause the video now so you can choose when to use will and when to use going to. There are two very important words we need to remember: unpredictable and stable. Everything associated with be going to is going to be stable or pre-planned. So we are going to use this with planned events and predictions based on science. Unpredictable is going to be associated with will. So we are going to use it with unplanned events, on-spot decisions, promises, and threats, but also with predictions that are not based on science. Let's remember that promises can be broken, the same as threats. Let's talk about the grammar structure of be going to. First, we have the subject. Next, we need the auxiliary verb in simple present. In this case, we need the verb be. After that, we're going to use the particle going to. A particle is never split. After that, we have the main verb in bare infinitive, and finally the complement. For example, I am going to host my family dinner this Christmas. Remember that a statement always ends in period. You are going to issue your passport. My sister is going to pack a first aid kit. Bruno is going to travel abroad. Our dog is going to stay with our neighbor. My sister and I are going to meet our friends on Saturday. Here we can use on Saturday as a complement because it is the specific time, moment, or day when we are going to do the planned action. Kyle and Lisa are going to exchange some cash. In negative terms, we are going to use the same structure. The difference is that this time the verb be is going to be used in negative. We are going to see the negative ones in red. For example, I am not going to do anything special this Christmas. We are not going to use any reductions with am and not, but we can reduce it as I'm not. You are not going to go surfing every day. Here, every day is separated because this is an adverb, not an adjective. My sister is not going to bring hiking boots. Bruno isn't going to travel by plane. Isn't is the reduction or contraction of is not. Our trip isn't going to be long. My sister and I aren't going to stay home on Saturday. Aren't is the contraction of are not. Kyle and Lisa are going to have phone service there. We also have specific expressions that we can use in future. Let's start with the days. Let's imagine today is Tuesday. Today is present. So tomorrow is Wednesday. Tomorrow is future. Thursday in 2 days, or the day after tomorrow. Friday in 3 days. Saturday in 4 days. We can also use this with months and years. For example, let's imagine we are in March. If we say this month, that is present. But if we say later this month, that is future. April is next month, that is future. May is in 2 months, June in 3 months, and July in 4 months. We can also use this structure with years, weeks, weekends, decades, centuries, minutes, and any other units of measure of time. There are others that we can use. For example, to say the specific month, we are going to say in August. To say the specific day, on Wednesday. To say the specific time, at 3 p.m. But if we are not specific, or we don't know exactly, but we know it's in the future, we are going just to say soon. Closed questions are the ones that start with the auxiliary verb, in this case be. Remember that when questions, we switch the order of the auxiliary verb and the subject. For example, are you going to go to the beach? If this is a conversation, we have to say yes, I am, or no, I'm not. Is Bruno going to travel abroad? Yes, he is. No, he isn't. Whenever we answer in negative, we need to use the reduction or contraction of the verb and the negative. In this case, isn't. Are they going to spend time with their family at Christmas? Yes, they are. No, they aren't. Open questions have the same structure. The difference is that the first word we're going to use is a WH word. For example, what are you going to do next weekend? I'm going to go to the cinema with my family. What time are we going to meet at the bus stop? Let's meet at 7:30 so we get good seats. Why aren't you going to take your toiletries? Because I can buy them when I arrive. Whenever we provide explanations, we can just use simple present. Now let's talk about reductions. Going to is going to be reduced by gonna. Let's pronounce it. Gonna. How do we use it? Let's say we have, she's going to visit her parents next month. The reduction is going to be, she's gonna visit her parents next month. I'm gonna, specifically with the pronoun I, is going to be reduced by amna. Let's pronounce that. Amna. How do we use it? Instead of saying I'm gonna visit my parents soon, you could say I'm gonna visit my parents soon. Simple future is formed with will or won't in negative. Something very important to remember is that will is a modal verb, which means it doesn't need any additional auxiliary verb because it is the auxiliary verb. In affirmative, we are going to use will with all the subjects that exist, or in this case with all the pronouns or all nouns. It doesn't change. For example, my sister and I will go to the beach. Bruno will travel abroad. I'll host the next dinner. Apostrophe double L and no spaces next to the subject is going to be the contraction of will. We'll call you as soon as we arrive to the hotel. Notice that we apostrophe double L has the same pronunciation of the modal verb will. So we could say, we'll call you as soon as we arrive to the hotel. In affirmative, we can also use some adverbs, for example, maybe, probably, and I think. These are going to establish that we are not sure about our plans. Last but not least, we have negative. Negative is formed by won't, which is the contraction of will not. We are going to see it in red. We could say, my sister and I will not go to the beach. Bruno won't travel abroad. I won't be here next summer. And as we said before, we can use adverbs with them. Something very important to remember about statements is that they answer questions. And these questions can also be structured with be plus going to. That depends on your personal situation. So tell me now, what are you going to do now? How about tomorrow? Any plans for next week? Try to describe it. Thank you very much for watching.